Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Fish Sandwich Patrol bringing you another Total War Shogun 2 online battle. It's going to be a pretty interesting battle here. It's actually a medium-sized battle on Forest Gully. It's against the Fall of the Samurai Army, and I have this concept that I've been tinkering with for Anti-Fall of the Samurai Armies. So even though it's just a medium-sized battle, it's a nice proof of concept, and I decided to upload it and do a commentary on it. So my army is going to be a pretty mixed army. I have a small sword corps of 2 katanas and 1 nodachi, and then a front line of 3 Yari samurai to be meat shields, and then 2 matchlock samurai up front just to do some damage, and a fire rocket hidden in the forest. My cavalry complement is pretty light, 3 light cavalry along with my avatar. So as Fall of the Samurai Army, he's going to deploy here with 6 infantry up in front, Imperial Infantry, and Kihetai. And I thought when he first deployed, he'd be super noob and keep them in this formation. But he does end up spreading them out and getting a nice wide formation. So I have a pretty wide front line to deal with here. And I don't know if he has any other units. It doesn't look like he has any veterans. I don't have any veterans either. This is a totally fresh army of just me tinkering with the concept. So my light cavalry is going to go out in front and get the sword dojo. I figure why not? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to challenge me for it. He has no artillery. And as of right now, he has no cavalry. But then I see it happen. Some cavalry comes out of the woods. We have some veteran carbine cavalry. There are 3 of them. One has 4 chevrons of experience, and the other 2 have just 1 and 2. So not too bad. He's going to come up here and try and get the shrine. And I decide, well, you know what? I might be able to deny him this shrine. So my fire rockets are going to be redirecting through the woods, moving more in a westerly fashion, so I can hit these densely clumped up cavalry. So you can't really see their range, but their range would be just about to this road here from where they're at. So not the longest range ever, not like an artillery piece, of course, but still a pretty decent range, especially if you're going against those Fall of the Samurai armies that don't have artillery support. So Yari Samurai are going to line up on the left now that I see cavalry. I'm going to try and ward off his cavalry before I make any moves on his infantry. It looks like he wants to skirmish with that ranged cavalry as well. So I'm going to set up on this little hill. I got a nice little terrain spot. If he tries to come close to shoot me with matchlocks, I'll have a decent little hill here kind of protecting me. So I'm not too worried about him attacking me. I'm just thinking about how I'm going to go about approaching this battle. So the cavalry just slowly moving through the trees. He's taking a lot of time just making a nice wide formation that's going to be very hard to flank with the red line right there and this cavalry protecting his flank. But there we go, the first volley of the fire rockets. I think he saw them come out of the trees right before I shot, so he is ended up juking it a little bit, but this 1 carbine cavalry takes about 15 casualties. So not a great first volley, but it does make him waver, and I think it's going to change his battle plan immediately, as he's going to just immediately pull off his carbine cavalry and start trying to think of something else. So I'm like, okay, so this area is pretty clear for me now. I'm going to see if I can maybe make a play for the shrine, or at least deny it to him. He has this 1 infantry unit. It looks like he really wanted to get it. But I'm going to move up my fire rockets to the crest of this hill to get a nice little strategic position where I can fire out over the enemy from right there and be surrounded on 3 sides and nice and protected. So the fire rockets are going to move up. His cavalry is moving back, but his Imperial infantry is moving up. Now, I kind of looked at it, and I didn't think he'd be able to shoot my fire rockets from their position, but it turns out he actually can, so I'm going to take a few casualties in a little bit. But the Yari Samurai and 1 Matchlock Samurai are going to go and cover the fire rockets so they can set up in position. So he's also setting up in position, and look at that range on that Imperial infantry. Going to end up taking out a couple of my fire rockets. So I immediately pull back, don't want to lose these guys. That would be really bad. They're key to my strategy, and that's a lot of Koku down the drain in a medium battle. Only have about 8,000 funds, and the fire rockets cost about 1,700, so definitely trying to keep them safe. The Carbine Cavalry is back as well, and now he's actually moving up to sort of start attacking me, so he's going to start putting some pressure on me. I'm not really used to that against Fall of the Samurai armies, so he's going to shoot into my matchlocks with the Carbine Cavalry as his Imperial Infantry reform, and my matchlocks going to get a nice little volley into them, killing about 20 men. But those Carbine Cavalry are just tearing into my matchlocks, killing about 20 of them with those first couple volleys, so definitely not too bad there. Yari Samurai are going to activate their speed bonus and run, while my fire rockets are going to try and ward off this Carbine Cavalry, and it almost works. Got him down to about 24 men, and they're wavering, but not going to shatter quite yet. So his frontline infantry is starting to shoot my matchlocks and doing a lot of damage. They're down to about half strength after those little volleys. So that's definitely my time to attack. I'm going to pop the speed bonus on the Yari Samurai and go in. Meanwhile, the Yari Samurai over here is going to try and clean up this Imperial infantry. And really, it is a matter of just closing the gap against these Fall of the Samurai armies. I just want to point this out. This is Imperial infantry that they're fighting. Obviously, a pretty high quality unit right here. But the Yari Samurai, not being even infantry specialists, are going to clean them up pretty easily. They do have some support here from the Matchlock Samurai, of course. But really, it's just about closing the distance. Even Yari Samurai can take out the line infantry without too much trouble. So my matchlock samurai over here have routed, so I have no missile support for my front line. But thankfully, he's so spread out, this flank can't even support the other flank. That's really important when using a Fall of the Samurai army, is to have your units be able to support each other, whether it's through a defense in depth with multiple ranks, or just being able to flank and sort of encircle the enemy and just have fire coming from all directions. So I'm popping the Banzai on the Nodachis. They're going to run into the Imperial Infantry, and my Yari is not really winning too handily here, as it's 100 versus 50 of my Yari Samurai, but they're going to do enough just closing the distance, and there's going to be some wavering here, but it looks like we're going to win that battle. The fire rockets are starting to shoot into the Imperial Infantry to try to do a little shock, and there go my Yari Samurai, so and actually his route as well, so it ends up being a wash, but I'll take that, a Yari Samurai for an Imperial Line Infantry. So he's starting to flank around me to the left, but I'm not worried about it. I just want to route this front line right here, whereas Carbine Cavalry set up a little bit of a defense in depth, making a second line, but his line infantry is already routed. It's already gone. The shock of the Nodachis plus the fire rockets end up making him round. So a little bit of micro mistake, not getting these light cavalry moving as soon as they should have, so I'm going to lose about half my men before they even make it to the general, but still going to be a nice little charge. Meanwhile, Yaris have cleaned up that Imperial Infantry. I'm going to start moving around to do a little hammer and anvil, but all the infantry's gone at this point, and I just need to try and lock down this cav. Thankfully, my fire rockets are going to come in, and no need to try and spare this light cavalry. Just send the fire rockets right into his general and really put that pressure on him. There go the cavalry, just routing sort of en masse right now. His general's wavering down to 9 men, though the general is still alive. That's going to just about do it for his middle part of his line. General's still standing and fighting, but the Katana Samurai, there it goes. His general is dead, though he did pop rally before he went, but it's not going to matter really because it didn't hit these units over here. So I've cleaned up the right and the center of his line, and all I need to do now is clean up the left. This Carbine Cavalry is coming back into the fight, but not going to make much of a difference. I actually think I sent my fire rockets to shoot into him and ended up breaking him, so not a big deal. Fire rockets are moving up as well, and he's going to set up another line, and that's where I start to think about how I'm going to approach this, because I want to be careful. You know, the battle's not over yet, even though I did kill his general. He's got some pretty good Imperial infantry here that I got to watch out for. So I got to be careful. My matchlocks have actually rallied and rejoined the fight. One has 60, one has 43. So I thought they got pretty much decimated, and I was actually kind of surprised to see them still in the fight. So that range on those matchlocks, I'm going to start shooting into my matchlocks. But thankfully, I have the sword dojo in the way, just blocking them, and they're not going to get any real damage on my matchlock samurai, just wasting their ammo and their time. Fire rockets are moving up to support the infantry attack. I'm going to send 1 Yari samurai up to the front and 1 around to the rear. If you can catch a Fall of Samurai army like this, and you can flank them and hit them from the front and the rear, that's the way you want to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. My general and the Yari samurai are going to flank around while the infantry comes up this hill to the front. And it's a pretty advantageous hill for him. He's got a pretty good line of sight. If I wanted to be a little more careful, I would have sent them up. I kind of want to catch that fire rocket, so I'm going to pause it. I would have sent them up this hill right here where they can't get that field of fire until they're right about there. And hopefully they waste some ammo when they're like right here and not really eligible to be hit by those matchlock bullets. But no real need for that, as this battle is essentially over. The fire rockets are just going to use the last of their ammo on the infantry. And look at that. Killed 30 men already with the fire rockets. Oh my god, another one right there. How many did that get? Quite a few. General doesn't make a frontal charge. I managed to catch him on the side of his unit while he's trying to turn, so he doesn't get any volleys into my general before we close the distance, and we're going to start cutting them down. Already down to half strength. My melee general really doing some work there. Matchlock's going to support the infantry assault by setting a few volleys, trying to weaken them a little bit. And this Kihei Tai right in the middle is already down to half strength due to the matchlocks and the fire rockets, so just trying to move up and finish this up. We got wavering here on the left. The middle unit's going to be a lot of trouble. My general is going to be agile enough to get around. He took a volley or two, and now he's down to only 12 men, but he's all right. I popped the rally just in case a lucky bullet found him, like what happened in a recent battle of mine in one of those 2v2s. So the Katana is actually going to get a pretty good charge. I still have 80 men left in the units. They're totally fine. I'm going to be able to clean up this Imperial infantry, no problem. They kill about 20 men in that charge, and just going to cut them to pieces. Only lost 5 men since the melee battle started, and this one's lost 60 and dwindling very fast. So yeah, closing the distance is the key to winning in Fall of Samurai Army. Use the terrain to your advantage. It's hard to see when you're all the way zoomed out, but all these little contours all over the map, you can use it to approach and keep those matchlocks and rifles from getting a clear line of sight on your guys, and you can end up closing distance pretty easily with very few casualties. So it's actually a great map to play against Fall of the Samurai armies because it's just so hilly and there's so many little subtleties in the terrain. So just going to go end the battle and view the statistics screen real quick. I'd like to see how many kills those fire rockets got, because they were actually doing a lot of damage. I don't remember them doing this much damage to infantry, but they seem to be doing quite a bit of damage in terms of casualties along with that morale shock. So, hey, fire rockets may be underrated against Fall of the Samurai armies. Possibly something you can make use of in the future. Just going to load the stat screen real quick to see what sort of numbers we got. There we go. Only lost half my army, so pretty good numbers. He lost, 909 out of 1100, so did a lot of damage there. Fire rockets. Okay, they only killed 94, but that's still not bad. The morale effects they had in that battle were pretty indispensable. Look at that, 1800 experience too. Wow. Nodachis, of course, getting a lot of kills. They will be the workhorses in the Anti-FotS Samurai army. They're very good. When the bonsai, they won't rout if they have the bonsai active. So if you pop that right before you get into matchlock or rifle range, then you'll be good to go. Yari Samurai, look at this, 155 kills from the Yari Samurai against an almost entirely infantry army. So Yari Samurai also very, very good. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Good luck on the battlefield, and see you next time.